Many reports use some sort of summarizing of data such as subtotals, grand totals, averages, the minimum maximum values, etc. You can create summary fields for the entire report, which are reflected in the grand totals. You can also create summary fields at the group level, allowing you to run calculations on each group of records instead of on all records in the report. The process of creating a summary field basically boils down to just 3 steps. Choose the field to summarize. Second, specify the summary operation, sum, min, max, average, etc. And lastly, select the summary location, where the summarized field is to be inserted in the report, which specifies whether you want to summarize the chosen field for a particular group or for the entire report. This particular copy of a core report is only grouped by subsidiary. And then, of course, you have the grand totals of those same fields. Assume that you'd like the same subtotal fields for each department. You'll need to create a group on the DCS code. Accessing the group expert, choosing the DCS code and adding it to the group by list. That's all there is to creating a group. Now we want to create summary fields for the DCS code group, again using the same fields as for the subsidiary and grand totals. And we can see what those are here. You can select the field to summarize in the detail section before initiating the summary task, or you can do it after initiating it. We'll do it before, which we can do on either the Preview tab or the Design tab, as long as you select it from the Detail section. We'll start with the quantity sold, then select the Summary command, either from the Insert menu or from the Insert Tools toolbar. The Insert Summary dialog box displays organized into the 3 required steps. The field to summarize, the quantity is already selected because we pre-selected it. That simply saves us from having to scroll through a possibly long list and choosing the field that we want to summarize. Select the summary operation, step 2, from this drop-down list. Now the operators that are available are dependent upon the type of field selected in the field to summarize section. Okay, we have a number selected, so these operators are actually valid operators for a number type field. And we are going to use the sum operator, so we'll just leave it. And lastly, we select our summary location from this drop-down list. Now, it does default to displaying the report footer, which would be totals for the entire report. We already have totals for the entire report, so choosing, notice that our only available options are for the report footer or for the groups. And these are the created groups within the report, which default, by the way, also to the footer section for those groups. So we're going to choose our DCS code group. Now, if we hadn't created our DCS code group first, before entering the Insert Summary command, we could have actually clicked on this button here. If the group isn't already created, this will allow you to create the group on the fly while you're creating the summary field. Ideally, this button will not be necessary if the report has been planned out and already has all the necessary groups created. All 3 steps are completed, so we can simply hit OK. And when initiated from the Preview tab, you can see the results immediately. Okay, here we have our quantity. This is our group footer 2, so it is for the DCS code, and our quantity subtotal added. Now, more than likely, you're going to want to format this field to match the other subtotals for this same field. So I could click on this total here in the subsidiary group and use the Format Painter. You're probably also going to want to add a text box to identify this group footer, similar to what you have here for the subsidiary group footer. Otherwise, you can see here this displays, but we don't really know what this line is for. And scrolling through the pages will give you a better idea or a better view of some of the other data. Okay, here you can see the subtotal for this vendor, and then another subtotal for the next vendor. And of course, you're going to want to complete those same steps for inserting subtotals for the rest of these fields here. Now, as previously mentioned, summary fields are automatically placed in the group footer section. However, you can move it to the group header section if you want to see the totals at the beginning of the group. I'm going to move over to the Design tab where I can see the sections more clearly. I'm going to copy our newly inserted subtotal here. I'm going to copy it to the group header so that you can see that the results are the same. So copying it to the group header, I just did a Control-C. I'm going to do a Control-V. It will bring a box for me to place it exactly where I want it. Previewing the data again. You can see here's the group header, again for the DCS code, and here's the group footer. Okay, so the results are the same. So you can see that summary calculations can appear prior to printing the actual data. And this is due to Crystal Reports' 2-pass processing cycle. Summary fields are actually calculated in the first pass and are already known before any of the records are printed. This simply provides you with more flexibility. One of the primary purposes for breaking data into groups is to create summaries on each group. So use the summary command to summarize data and print the summary in your report.